From high atop Healthcare Hill in Central Maryland, this is BSN Headline News. Today's top story is it's mid-year review time. Every year, Mazziccoli conducts employee mid-year reviews, mid-year, then again at the end of the year, fiscal year that is. This year's mid-year reviews are going on now through April the 8th. Recently, we had a chance to sit down with Chief Nurse Executive Andrea Mazziccoli to get her take on mid-year reviews. Let's listen in.
Mid-year reviews are an important time for both the employee and the supervisor. And so I think one of the most important things is this is not a passive act for an employee, and it shouldn't be just an obligatory task for a supervisor or leader. It's really a time to connect about two things: our business objectives and our personal development. As a visible testimony to the commitment Mazzoccoli has in our employees to take time for that professional development. In many organizations, performance review is an obligatory one-year event. Our health system says no, our people are too important, and we're making an investment that mid-year we're going to spend dedicated time with our employees. It's a time for the employee and I to say, what's really important to you about this work? And how does it make you feel? Everyone who comes to work wants to feel like their work's important and valued. And although mid-year reviews are an important time for us to think about our business objectives, it's also a time for us to meet some of our strategic objectives around people. Are people engaged? Do they feel valued? We will never meet our business objectives if we don't really leverage and liberate the full potential of our people. We're in a time in healthcare where everything is changing. That also means that each of our work is going to be different. And it changes, it feels like every day. So a mid-year review and the time and the commitment that we make is about our compass. Who am I? What do I value? What's important to me? And how can I set a map or a goal? I just read recently, a dream is a dream unless you write it down. Once you write it down, it becomes a goal. When you write a goal, then it becomes reality. So a professional development time gives me a sense to think about, who do I want to be? It's about making a commitment to invest in yourself.
Mid-year reviews. If you've already had yours, good for you. If not, be sure to log on to SuccessFactors and complete your self-assessment before you meet with your supervisor. In other news, February is Black History Month, and we wanted to share with you some of what we know about Black History Month. The tradition of Black History Month goes back to the beginning of the 20th century. In 1926, legendary historian and educator Carter G. Woodson founded Negro History Week. Mr. Woodson chose February because it coincided with the birthdays of two men who fought for the freedom of American slaves, Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. Then in 1976, Negro History Week was expanded to Black History Month. Since then, Black History Month has offered an opportunity to study, reflect on, and define our ongoing legacy of American history. Black History Month's theme this year is Hallowed Grounds, Sites of African American Memories. The Association for the Study of African American Life and History reflects, the history of African Americans unfolds across the canvas of America, beginning before the arrival of the Mayflower and continuing to the present day. From port cities where Africans disembarked from slave ships, to the battlefields where their descendants fought for freedom, From the colleges and universities where they pursued education to places where they created communities during centuries of migration, the imprint of Americans of African descent is deeply embedded in the narrative of the American past. These sites prompt us to remember, and over time became hallowed grounds. During the month of February, here at BSN Headline News, we'll be bringing you stories related to Black history. Next week, we'll talk a little bit about Frederick Douglass, from slavery to a trusted White House advisor, as part of our celebration of Black History Month. Finally, it's not a pretty subject, but it's something everyone needs to know about. The new updated Mazzoccoli social media policy. Now, we're not going to go through the whole policy, but we will encourage you to go to IRIS and read the entire policy, especially if you are a social media user. So Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, etc. You know them if you use them. Anyway, here are some highlights. BSHSI will not tolerate discrimination of any kind. If you identify your affiliation with BSHSI, your social media activities should be consistent with BSHSI's mission and values. BSHSI strongly discourages friending of patients on social media websites. Patient and employee confidentiality may not be disclosed. BSHSI does not recommend friending of supervisors or direct reports on social media websites. Unless approved by BSHSI, your social media name, handle, and/or URL should not include BSHSI's name or logo. Social media use should never interfere with your work commitments. If you see something that violates BSHSI's policy in any way, it is your obligation to contact the BSHSI Values Line at 888-880-1286 or your Corporate Responsibility Officer. BSHSI reserves the right to end the employment relationship with any workforce member or vendor for failure to comply with the policy. Now, this just touches on some of the highlights of the policy, and we encourage everyone to review the complete policy. To do that, go to IRIS and click the e-policy link under the Quick Links section on the home page. Then search for Social Media Policy. Almost everyone uses social media, so almost everyone should be reviewing the policy. Please. Well, that's it for this week. Stay tuned to this portal for future up-to-the-minute information on these and other stories on BSN Headline News. I'm Dave Schlachter. Thanks for joining us. BSN Headline News is a production of Mazzoccoli Productions and is solely responsible for its content.